Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Hello. We've got Carrie, Helen, Meg. Good morning, good morning. Hello. I'm just deciding if I want 2 strands for this or 3. And the way I do it is not very scientific at all. It's just by holding up a piece and seeing if I should make it thinner or thicker. So this is 2 strands. I think that might be a bit too thin. Right, so what we're going to do this morning is the Holly and Jolly. We're going to use a regular old backstitch. However, this is where, hi George! This is where you need to make some choices. So for my Holly Jolly, it's going to look like a candy cane. And I think I have the hoop over here because last year's Christmas pattern had the choice to do a candy cane pattern. Sorry, I misplaced it. So it looks like this, wrapped candy cane in the middle. So what I'm going to do is do a red Holly Jolly and then come back later and do the white on whip day because there's a couple things that we can whip if we want to. So this is where you can choose. You can do the candy cane, you can do just a red and leave it red. You can do a black. You could whip the red on the outside of the banner if you wanted to do it that way. You could just make it all black, make it simple. It's up to you. It's not difficult to do this, so don't look at it and say, oh my goodness, there's no way I'm going to be able to do that, so I have to do it easier, if you know what I mean. That's not true at all. So I'm going to go with red. I might do the candy cane, I might not, I might decide against it, but we will see. We will just try. And like I said before, I think I'm a little bit worried that 2 is going to be too skinny. But then we'll also, if you want to whip it, maybe you will want, I'll do 2. Because if I whip it later, then it does make it a little bit more chunky. So I will choose 2. 2 strands. If you do not want to whip it, do 3. So I'm just untwisting and I put my finger down. Of course, there's a knot here. I've chosen 2 strands that are not close to each other. Sorry, guys. This is not cooperating. There we go. Okay, and I had a couple questions yesterday about how do I thread my needle so quick. So I'm just going to do that again. I put the thread in between my first finger and my thumb, and I do this kind of action to put the thread through the needle. Yeah. So I just put the needle straight over the top and then push it through. Easy peasy. Yes, Helen, it must be really early where you are. Much more chat this morning than there normally is. Normally I'm just straight down to business. Let's get started. Let's do it. But obviously, too many decisions with this one. So let's go. Like I said, it's just going to be a back stitch, but you want to really make them small, your stitches small, because there's a lot of curves here. So if you have really big, oh, in Scotland. I thought for some reason you were in America. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm thinking. So you want to make sure that they're a little bit smaller, especially around the curves, because you don't want it to look like a rectangle up there. You want it to flow quite nicely. You can also do a smaller needle if you are worried. Sometimes with smaller strands, it's easier for the thread to pull out of your needle. I just had to chase Jessie around the backyard because she found some remnants of fireworks. Yeah, so Miss Vera has said there's also a little helper to thread your needle great if your hands or fingers are not very precise. Yeah, so if you like using a needle threader, do it. I actually don't have one because I've never needed one, but I know some people really like using them and they find them really helpful. So if that's for you, get it, girl. So I know we've talked about this before, but I find that the lighter the color, the easier you will see all of your individual stitches. So if you're using a color that's, if you see the black, it looks like a straight line even though there are little stitches. Whereas the red, you can see each stitch quite easily. So just keep that in mind. As far as like how it looks. So the darker the color, the more that it will look like a straight fluid line. I know I always get a little bit annoyed when I have to use a white thread for lettering because you can see every single stitch. Yeah, it's just called a needle threader. She says, that's the name, so easy. I cannot remember the name. A needle threader. I know there's like two kinds. There's the kind that's like quite flimsy, like a flimsy piece of metal, and then it's got like a loop on the end, just like a really skinny wire loop. I know that's like the most common one. Sorry. That people get like in sewing kits and things. And I know there's another one that's like a little bit thicker, but it has like a hook like this on one end. So that might be useful too. Some people, they don't like the flimsy ones because they say that the loop falls off really easy. I also find that because I'm using the same needle that I would for 6 threads, and right now we're only using 2. So I do find that because the needle is thicker here, it makes bigger holes. So you kind of have to be really careful with where you put your needle on the line when you're doing them, because sometimes it will look like it's straight, and you're going in a straight line, but actually it's not. this is pretty much it. Saws. Oh, my mom says, have a great day. I have to get my day started counting the days until you are here because we're coming back for Christmas. Have a good day. I'm going today to restock all of the kits because all of them have sold out in like the last week. I think there's one of each on the website right now on Etsy. And then I'm gonna add some new kits. I'm really excited. So that'll be fun. Will you stop checking the garbage, please? She's never really got in the garbage. Like we used to have a dog when we were little, and he used to always get in the garbage, like climb in there and like get everything out and like eat a bunch of stuff. Jessie never does that. She just lifts the lid and has a little sniff. And then goes on with her day. So yeah, apologies if this is not very entertaining. Just notice I'm going smaller. Oh gosh, she's decided to get all her toys out now. Perfect timing, Jessie. Just notice I'm making smaller stitches on the curves because you really want them to look round. This is where if you traced it really weird, you're really going to be able to tell. What are you doing? Yeah, so again, because I know I'll have another question in my inbox. 2 strands, that's how many I decided on. It's the Backstitch. Paying special attention to the curves, making them a little bit smaller. And then you have the choice. I think we'll do that on Friday. You have the choice whether you would like to whip them and make them a little bit smoother or candy cane-like, or you can leave them exactly how they are, just backstitched, which means that if you choose just to leave them, Friday you'll have a free day. Hello. Let me tell you though, I'm super impressed with everyone's chain stitch from yesterday. Like, so good. So we're coming up to the end of Holly. At the end of this, I will make a knot and cut, and then start again for Jolly, because I really don't want to see that thread going from here over to there. If you've done stitch-alongs with me before, you know that's a really big pet peeve of mine, when someone has a really nice embroidery and it looks really lovely, but you can see through the fabric that they have threads going across places where they don't have stitching, so you can see the threads through. That's just a me thing. I just think it would have looked so much nicer if they would have like took the time to cut it and then start again. Like, yeah, is it annoying? Absolutely, but it makes your finished piece look so much better. She's gonna sit in her bed now. She gave up on playing. No more playing. Okay, so there's Holly. Just gonna flip her over. You can tell on the back, I did straight backstitch the whole time. I didn't do the thread saver method at all. Just gonna snip that. And then we'll do Jolly. Holly Jolly. Some of you have different things that you've written on there, so custom phrases. They work exactly the same, so there's no like special instructions if you have different words, just backstitch. Thanks, lovely. She says beautiful. I think one of the biggest things to learn is how many strands to use. As a rule, if you have a smaller hoop, you're always going to use less strands, especially for writing and any kind of lettering. Of course, you're going to use less strands because it's a smaller hoop. And with the more strands that you use, sometimes the detail is lost. So that's always kind of something to think about. If you saw at the very beginning, I was kind of taking a scrap of 2 and kind of holding it up to see, is that going to work? Is it going to be too thick, or should it be thinner? Is it going to be too thin? Because you want to be able to see the letters, but you also don't want them to be so squished and jumbled so that you can't see. I think the more that you practice, the more you realize, oh, that's definitely 3 strands. I can definitely use 6 strands for that. I'm totally gonna run out of thread. Yeah, so I should have just done Holly and then left it and then been like, yeah, you guys can do Jolly in your own time, because I'm pretty sure you don't really want to watch me doing this again. It's exactly the same, especially these parts. I never listened to this YouTube Christmas thing before. Yesterday we didn't get this far, but now they're starting to talk. Weird. Right now I'm rewatching all of The Office, and I always forget how funny it is. I love The Office. Okay, I think Mixtape Kate says, do you have Christmas hoops that you've made in the past that you bring out every Christmas? Would love to see. So last year I did some ready-made hoops just for markets. And then the Christmas pattern from last year is still up in the shop. Last year I made a kit for it, but it came with, I'm just trying to think where all the little hoops are. It came with a special snowflake fabric that I got from America, and they don't sell that fabric anymore, so I couldn't make the same exact kit again, but it's the same kit that we're going to do for the workshop next week. So you get to make 2 different ornaments, and you can choose from 6 different designs. 6 different designs, and then, sorry, I'm just thinking, where did I put all those little hoops? Because I thought I had them all right there, but I just looked over and they're not there. Yeah, so you choose from 6 different designs. There's a bird, like a dove. There's Santa Baby. There's Let It Snow. And then there's 2 wreaths. I do have some right here, actually. And there's 2 wreaths. I just saw one. So here's one from last year. And then I hand lettered 4 different alphabets so that you could trace them in the middle for your initial. And there was the Santa Baby one. Now I just want to find all the other ones. Here's one. Blue variegated thread. It was really pretty, and it said Let It Snow, and it had the that snowflake. It was like a white cotton color, but then it had like snowflakes on it that were also white, so you can only see it a little bit. But here's 4 of them. There was Let It Snow, and then there was another one. I can't remember what it is, but the pattern for all of them is still in the shop. You just have to obviously get your own 3-inch hoops for it. And then these ones had, like I said, alphabets that you could download that I hand lettered and add. So yeah, this year, like I said, I meant to go with my mother-in-law in at 10:30, but she's not here yet and I'm not done yet. So we're meant to go and get, that's okay. We're meant to go and get more threads and get all the kit stuff for a new Christmas kit, but I can't decide on the Christmas kit. So one of the Christmas kits is going to be this one, which I really like that. But I'm trying not to do like the same thing like twice, you know, because I don't want to have this Christmas kit be exactly the same as last year's Christmas kit. But last year I did 6 different designs, so I'm a little bit like, well, what should I do? So we'll see. Maybe I'll get the stuff to do another ornament kit with some similar colors or something. This thread does not want to separate. But yeah, and then I'll be restocking some other kits that are already in the shop, and then I'm hopefully going to bring in 2 or 3 new kits just for Christmas. So yeah, that should be fun. Can you stop licking yourself, please? It sounds disgusting. Hey, because they shaved Jessie's leg when they took her blood on Monday, last Monday, like not 2 days ago, but a week and 2 days ago, because they shaved her leg, she's like not happy about it at all. She keeps licking it. It's probably growing back and it's getting itchy, but she's like, dislike. But the sound of her licking is rank. Can you stop, please? Ugh. Okay. I'll just keep going until my mother-in-law comes. And it'll just be a long video. But to be fair, I did start late because we had a chat, and then do you have any other questions? I know today's video is kind of boring because it's just the backstitch and we've already done that one. Hello, hello, those of you who are just joining. I see a couple people that have just come on. That stitch was probably too big. How are you? Twigs and Knots has like the most lovely black macrame wall hanging as her profile picture. Every time I see it, I'm like, I love that. Okay, home stretch, guys. Almost finished. Ooh, she says it's actually a dark wine color. That's like even better. In the picture, it looks like really, really dark, like a black, but the wine would be like absolutely lovely. Helen says, macrame is one of the things I would love to try. I did some for a while. I wasn't like amazing at it, but it's so fun to try new things. Like, that's why I love like workshops, going to workshops or putting on workshops, because you can like try a bunch of different things and just like have a go. Okay, so I know you're almost at the end. I'm almost at the end. You should be close to the end if you're stitching. I'm always tempted to just make like big stitches at the end, but make sure you keep them small. Finish out, because you have this cute little thing here. There you go. Twigs and Knots says, it's not that hard once you know the foundational knots. Embroidery is so much harder. And Helen says, I did it years ago, but I'd like to try a bigger piece of work. Go for it. When I did it, I used an old clothing rail as the top. And then later found a stick to put in there. Okay, so we have all of the letters done except for this little guy there. And you can either do a French knot for that, or you can just do a really tiny little stitch. Since we are not going to do French knots until later, I'm just going to do a tiny stitch. There you go. I might change it later, but we'll see. It's okay for now. There we go. So that's day 3 done. Okay, so I'm off to go shopping. I'll have to get dressed first and then I'll go shopping. But tag me in all of your pictures and I'll repost throughout the day. And yeah, I hope you have a great Wednesday and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay? Bye.